All right, this one I'm excited for.
Oh yeah.
If it's true, Karl Urban is in final negotiations to star as Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2.
Say what?
Yeah. Information was provided by a source close to production and not actually formally confirmed. So, I mean, might not happen, but it sounds like it probably will, and this is awesome. Mortal Kombat 2021 was reportedly the most streamed movie of all the films that HBO Max released in theaters and on streaming at the same time in 2021. This includes films such as Dune, which is crazy, Godzilla vs. King Kong, Suicide Squad, and The Matrix Resurrections. Johnny,
those are good movies.
Those are some of those are good movies. I didn't really care for the newest Matrix, though. But anyways,
the first three.
The first three, yes, definitely. Johnny Cage was the only fighter, also, by the way, from the original Mortal Kombat arcade game to not show up in the movie, though he did receive an Easter egg at the end, basically teasing that he was going to be in the second one. So this is kind of big news. Johnny Cage is a big character in Mortal
This
Kombat.
is great. I love Karl Urban.
Yes.
I got to meet him a few years back at one of our mini conventions.
Oh, that's really cool.
That we went to, and I honestly had a horrible debate because I had to get a picture of him as Eomir, or I had to get a picture of him as Dr. McCoy, and I was torn. My heart was torn in two. I said both. Cake Mama said pick one.
Choice.
Cake Mama said pick one, and at the end of the day, the Dr. McCoy picture was just better, so I just went with that one. No, he was a great guy, super friendly. He was honestly wonderful to connect with there, and I think he's great. I think this is cool. I would love to see him as Johnny Cage. What about you guys?
This won't be his first video game appearance either. I believe he also played.
Right.
I don't know if his name was Doom Guy in Doom, but he was basically Doom Guy in the Doom movie, which
he was in Doom. Yeah,
wasn't a great video game movie, but I love it.
Well, I think this is great. Like this is, we've been talking a lot about, video game adaptation coming to the screen, right? And this is, I feel as though like the machinery is starting to work and it's figuring itself out. Mortal Kombat especially, because the first one was great. The first Mortal Kombat, in the 1990s. I mean, it doesn't age well, but for the time, it's good.
Yes.
The second one, if you slept through it, you are a hero. You won life. All of us will have to suffer through it. Then we come to the one that came out during COVID, and the trailers were just
so good,
unbelievable. And then it felt as though there was a good movie in there, and I just couldn't. It was trying to come out, but it just wasn't able to.
You weren't a fan of the new one.
I was a fan of the new one because, the production values were up. You had a couple of key name actors that I started noticing. Yeah. It started with the story of Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Like there was all of this that made me go, "Oh wow, here we go!"
And the real origin stories for Sub-Zero.
Exactly.
Sub-Zero.
Let's be honest, you talk about people like Karl Urban. That's top tier actors.
But this is what I'm saying. Like and this kind of reminds me of like, you guys can look it up on the channel. We did a review earlier on about Gran Turismo, where you have Orlando Bloom, David Harbour, directed by Neil Blomkamp. Like we're starting to get these high talent that are looking at this and going like, what, I can I really hope this is true. I mean, Karl Urban, this guy is just a legend in film.
He is. Right now. And I'm wondering, because Johnny Cage has a certain ego to him. And he's the comic relief, really.
Yeah.
Of course, Kano played comic relief in the first one, which is interesting because Kano and Sonya Blade are mortal enemies, forced to work together. We won't give too many spoilers for that. I know it's only a couple years old. But I have to say, I really enjoyed that movie. Of course, it wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I love the backstory with Hanzo, who is, who becomes Scorpion. And his origins, because it's so great to see that. And of course, any Mortal Kombat fan knows that Bihan, aka Sub-Zero, murdered him and his family. Yep. And Scorpion's whole mission is to kill Sub-Zero. That's his whole. He's not on the evil side or the good side. He's neutral. He's just after Bihan. He wants to murder that dude to death. Of course, Bihan, later becomes Noob Saibot, and Sub-Zero it becomes, Bihan's brother becomes Sub-Zero, and he's a good person. So I like that they had all that backstory in there, and I thought it was told very well. They explained the powers, people having powers, and you have to find your mantra or whatever it was called, because you were chosen as a tournament fighter, and they had this mysterious scar or mark on their bodies, naming them as one of the fighters. And I thought they explained that all much better than they did in the 90s version, where it was like, oh, we're all going to take a boat ride to another realm. And it's literally going to be like the game where Shang Tsung's sitting up there telling you to fight. And so I really loved it. And I really hope Karl Urban nails his Johnny Cage role.
And there's one thing I just want to add is I really hope we don't get some rando character like because I don't need some person to introduce me to the world.
Yeah.
Just tell me what just
go.
Just go. I don't need some new guy going like, I have to, like, no, dude. It's like having humans in a Transformers movie. No one cares.
I wish you were here last week when we did a reaction.
The Beast is coming.
The Rise of the Beast.
Here we go.
All right, so we're getting short on time here, so we do want to hop on.